Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl, Avenge and B. What you watching on TV? Okay, so I'm back for episode 2 of Baddies USA Chapter 2. Okay, so the second episode opened up where we are back with the Cabaret Girls. And this one, so I kind of jumped ahead in the episode 1 recap because I had tried to binge all this shit, y'all, so I could take me some notes and really try to highlight the stuff that matters, although I didn't really highlight too much because really all this shit is doing, all these motherfuckers is doing is fighting. But we open up to the Cabaret Girls, right? So we leave off Wet and Wet and Amber done had their little scuffle. They went through their little thing, they settled everything. But then when we get back, Kanaya comes in. So Kanaya is another one of the Cabaret Girls, and she's there. She gives me Amber too. Like, she come in like she just like super on guard, you know. And apparently, honey, Miss Egypt got it out for her. Like, you know, Egypt is ready to go when she walk in the door. Not so much aggressively. She's like pretty calm about it, but you know, her rapport with the other girls was fairly friendly and, you know, kind of lighthearted or whatever, you know. Soon as Kanai walk in the door, her shit shut all the way down. And she is, like, they end up fighting. I really hate that they switch between scenes because I actually just skipped over a whole nother section of the show or whatever. So anyway, y'all know they're going to fight. So they're just what the fuck that is, right? Now, the other trio, we end up going back to the LA house and we going to confront another trio. So this time we got Cold Killer and Fauna is up, and they basically explaining to Biggie and Nat why they got it. They don't really just got it Alpha K Rican, but they feeling some kind of way because K Rican, I guess, was like online and talking shit or whatever. So their little trio was fractured. They fractured. From the reunion, I guess it was a couple of points because K Rican appeared a couple times last season. But she couldn't stay for whatever reason. She showed up and her and Tinka got into it. She said Tinka need to be a mama or some shit. I don't know. But she really wasn't on the season a whole lot last time around, but she was at the reunion. And so when she got to the reunion, she ended up getting into a fight. She fought Tinka again. Tinka dog walked her ass. I can't remember who else she got into it. I think it was just Tinka, pretty much. Tinka Bella had it out for her ass. And so I think when she left the reunion, she felt some kind of way about it. And she went online and was talking about it, I guess, on her Instagram or something. Cold Killer and Fauna, you know, she was basically talking about them, and she was like, I guess, questioning whether or not they really liked her or whether or not they was really friends or not. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this Cold Killer. Cold Killer was another one that I kind of had my eyebrow, you know, I kind of giving her the side eye when she showed up. Cold Killer is solid. I really like her. She's growing on me too. Some people, you just got to give them a minute. You got to give them some time. And then once you observe them for a minute, she's a solid little bitch. I like Cold Killer. For me, like, because she's so young and, you know, I'm seasoned or whatever, you know. But at her age, I could see her being like some kind of boss, you know. You know what she remind me of? Cold Killer and if she ever see this, please don't think this is shade, because I mean it's to the highest compliment that I can give you, right? Cold Killer reminds me of one of the Queen Pin ladies that be like in the Tubi movies, but in real life. Check it. It really gives me like little boss mob leader bitch in the making. You know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with Cold Killer. I fuck with Cold Killer. I like her. Because she's rational, right? Like, she, you know, she get in there and she pop a little shit or whatever, and she be willing to fight or whatever, but she's rational. Basically, her little standpoint on the whole thing with K Rican is like, yo, you know, I told my homegirls, like, we not gonna never really get into it and do this internet shit. If we have a disagreement or something go on between us, we keep that shit between us and we stay off the internet with it. And it seemed like she's been pretty true to that, because she haven't necessarily went against nobody online that I know of. I'm not tracking these bitches' Instagrams and shit. I ain't got time for all that. But it seemed like she held up her end of the bargain with that. Fauna, too, to be fair. But K Rican done slipped up a couple times and go online, I guess maybe venting or something, how she feel about some shit that's going on. She was really feeling some kind of way about that shit. Now, I will say this for K Rican. I like K Rican too. I think for all these three girls, I think I have pretty positive opinions on all of them. I always liked Fauna for who she is. I think she's really out of place on Baddies. I done said this before. This was my assessment of her way back on the other season. I don't understand what she is doing her. I'm grappling to understand how this is benefiting her. Because she seems like, you know, highly educated, like, why are you here? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying she shouldn't be here. I'm not judging her for being there. Get your coins. You know what I'm saying? If you can make a smooth, 300,000, they'll slide you, a couple weeks. You do some work, fly a couple places, go to some venues, do some shoots, beat a bitch up. You get 300,000. Do it. I have no judgments, ma'am. None. But I don't understand why she's here. She's not like a musician. Like, I don't get it. But I do like her, though, because she seems like she got a solid head on her shoulders. Like Cold Killer was giving me Baby Summer when she first showed up. Maybe not to that degree. We all know Summer is, like, over the roof, like, extra. She's extra to the third power looking ass. So she definitely wasn't that bad, but that's what she was giving me when she showed up. Kind of like, okay, I'm finna make sure these bitches see me, so I'm gonna pop my shit and talk as rough as I can, cause and I just was like, girl, okay. But over time, even watching her on the previous seasons where she was there, she has grown on me. She has definitely grown on me quite a bit, actually. So I really like Cold Killer. And then K Rican, I always liked K Rican because she just country in the motherfucker. She remind me of the folks where I'm from, and she talk a little shit and she be roasting them hoes. Like, K Rican is entertaining to say the least. I think that she's definitely not no heavyweight, because the way Tinker was dog walking her ass, I feel sorry for her. You know how some people get into a fight and it don't even be a good fight. You just be like, oh shit. I wouldn't necessarily give her no major credit for her little fighting prowess. But she is really funny. She cute, she's adorable, and then she funny in a motherfucker. Like, she be really having me cracking up a few little confessionals I seen of her, and she be roasting him up. Like, girl, K Rican is a fool. So I like her too. And then I will say that when they had their talk, K Rican was very forthcoming. She didn't try to skirt around it. She wasn't like on no, when you bitches was wrong or none of that shit. She owned her shit, and she was just like, basically like, bitch, my feelings was hurt because I was getting beat up, and you bitches did not help me, and my feelings was hurt. And that's just what that was. And I was talking about it on my Instagram. I'm sorry. And she apologized. You know what I'm saying? So I got to respect that. Like, I think they're a solid little trio. Hopefully they stay like where they are and they don't end up fracturing and falling apart and shit. And then according to my notes, this is when we go back to the cabaret and Kanaya and Egypt fight. But I already told y'all about that. So fuck it. Now, I did leave out the fact that at the cabaret little meetup, I think their whole thing was, they had like this objective to make a pact that they was gonna all stick together, which is weird because I don't see none of the other girls really approach it like that. I guess maybe that was all of their intentions. I don't know, but they had this thing where they were just like, listen, we coming into baddies, shit gonna get crazy, and I know we got our little shit between us, but we want to try to make sure that we figure out right now we want to lay it down, and if some shit pop off with one of us, it's gonna pop off with all of us. And so for the most part, they all agreed to that. Egypt is not fucking with Kanaya, so if Kanaya getting her ass beat up, then she's gonna probably just have to rely on Wet Amber and Sweet Neek to help her out, because Egypt is like, fuck that bitch. She ain't with the shit. So they end up coming to their agreement. Eventually everybody do agree, okay, some shit happened and we're gonna have each other back. Child. Now the episode takes us to the rehearsal venue. These motherfuckers is crazy. We get to the rehearsal venue where they're going to have their first performance. I think they're doing their first show. They're kicking off this leg of the tour in LA, right? So they're at the little venue thing. They're in there. It looked like somebody's little bitty ass Harlem theater style type of venue and shit. And there are so many people in there. The objective... Keyword objective is for them to have their rehearsals, okay? Everybody gonna gather around. All the girls got their little songs and their materials and all the things. And they are there to rehearse for the upcoming show. Now, mind you, the show is supposed to be the same night. Because we have been introduced to everybody throughout the first episode, the standalones are kind of showing up now. I don't know how I forgot to mention episode 1 with the trio. Dolly, Lexus, and Summer end up meeting up. And Natalie's messy ass was gonna try to help them iron out their... This bitch know the girl. Obviously they fight and Dolly beat shit out of Summer. Summer did catch her real good with like a shoe or some shit in her eye. I don't know how I forgot to mention that in the first episode, but whatever. So that is relevant. So the reason that's coming back up to me now for y'all is because everybody was pretty much introduced in the first episode, right? However, the few that was kind of standalone, they come in, they kind of trickling in now on the second episode. So you got Tavy and you have Tinkerbella. They show up at the rehearsals. So Natalie, she does a whole introductory thing, and she's basically telling the girls that she gets to perform at Coachella, which is cool. I think that's what's up. Like, that's all a part of evolution, right? Like, I'm not checking for Coachella. I don't give a fuck about that shit. But it's obviously, I think it's a big deal, I guess, in the music industry if you get invited or whatever. So Natalie and Lemmy are invited to Coachella, where they're going to perform her song from the intro on last season, which I love that song so much. I actually play that shit in my car. I be doing what I want. Dun, 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 dun. That means that she's not going to be able to remain at the rehearsals for the girls in the show getting ready now. So she basically passed the baton over to Rolly. Rolly's supposed to govern. Rolly is supposed to govern the rehearsals, get everybody through rehearsals, get their set up. She want everything in a particular order, and you know the girls are supposed to be ready for a show that they got going on later on that night. Natalie and Lemmy gonna leave. They're going to Coachella. They're gonna perform, and they're gonna come back and then do her performance with them later on that evening. Ciao. Again, so like I said, there's a whole bunch of people in there, and so at this point, a lot of people are just kind of trickling in, and it feel like all the motherfuckers is there already, but I guess they kind of arrive at different times or whatever. And so Pressure got some beef with Rolly too. I think they all from LA. So Pressure, Rolly, Ivory, E.T. I can't think of who else, but I think they all from LA, and it sounds like Pressure got some kind of issue with Rolly that she wanted to get off. But Rolly is running the rehearsal, so she talk a little shit to her or whatever, but she don't really come out the stage to get to her. But Persuasion is back. I'm so surprised to see Persuasion back up on here. Like, what? But yeah, Persuasion is back on here, and so she ended up roasting Pressure, I guess. I feel like they had like an internet beef from what I'm understanding. They've been going kind of back and forth, or maybe not going back and forth, but maybe somebody, I think Pressure maybe said some shit about Persuasion or some shit. Child. Whatever. Persuasion end up roasting Pressure. And then so we kind of, we get the opinion of all the girls, and most of the girls mention the same thing I said, is that it's a million of them motherfuckers in there, and so all the girls are just kind of like, damn, like, everybody's a little nervous because you don't really know where what's gonna come from, and it's like high tension. You don't know who hate who and who mad at who, and motherfuckers are just all around. So they do kind of mention like it's a lot of people in there. And then they show us a part where Amber, I guess on the side of the stage somewhere. So Biggie and I feel like DTB is on the stage. She performing, so she up there doing her little line that shit up song. And while she's performing, Wet Wet and Amber get into it. So Amber walks by her and she's sitting on the wall with the other cabaret girls. And so I guess as Amber is walking by, Wet Wet say something to her or say something under her breath, and then Amber pop off and end up whooping Amber. Amber whooping Amber. Y'all know what the fuck I mean. Wet Wet get beat up, and so she is like, Wet Wet to me is almost Summer 2.0. I don't think people will have as much disdain for Wet Wet because Wet Wet don't seem malicious. She seems like she just silly in a motherfucker. You know what I mean? So it's hard to just be mad at her. But she just get on your nerves. Like, so her and Amber, they get kind of tangled up. They tussle a little bit. And Amber get all emotional and she end up leaving out and walking down the street and shit. But then the whole time while Amber is gone, Wet Wet is like, she done took her shirt off and shit, and she running back and forth in front of the stage, and she huffing and puffing and talking, and she like, I guess when she get mad, she like to dance, because like she'll do some splits or just some random shit, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? She was getting it out her system, child. They get into it and they do their little 1-2s or whatever. Now, this one came kind of out of left field for me because the next fight that they highlight, and it's about 35 fights. I'm just going to tell y'all. As a matter of fact, I think they said it was 27 fights. I'm not even making it up. But somebody in there counted them, and they said it was 27 fights that day. But one fight that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me was the fight with Ciroc and Tavy. So Ciroc, she square up with Tavy. Tavy is like, God damn, bitch, I just got here. But she had to get up in there because Ciroc was not finna walk away. And Ciroc is a human bulldozer. Like that bitch. Now, let me say this about Ciroc. Maybe I should give my opinion at the end. Fuck it, I'm gonna give it now. I really like Ciroc. Now, I haven't observed her enough to understand her personality and all that kind of shit. So I guess we'll kind of get a better gauge of that as the season go on. But aesthetically, I think she is so gorgeous. So, you know, it's hard to be cute while you're roughed up and fighting and shit. But like her little confessionals, I like the fact that she real statuesque. Like she's kind of tall. She's like big, like, but solid, you know. Like Ciroc is really fucking dope to me. I think she's really cute. And she seemed like she gonna be a heavy hitter. Like they found a contender to get up in here. As far as the Tasikis and Alexis and the, you know, who else? And the ETs, like Ciroc is a contender. Like she gonna give us a little something. She gonna give us something. But anyway, her and Tavy ended up getting into it. I don't know why. But I will say she got the best of that fight. Tavy, I love you so much, but you just, oh my God. I think Tavy's getting tired of this shit, y'all, because it's getting really, really sad. She's making me sad. Now, after Tavy fights Ciroc, somehow Fauna and her end up squaring up, which is weird. I guess all of this shit is internet-based. Like, it got to be internet-based, because you don't see there's no lengthy conversations going on prior to this. And some of them make reference to it in, like, their confessionals. But, like, Tavy really is bouncing from fight to fight. So, as soon as Ciroc is excused or took to the lobby or some shit, she left. Her and Fauna end up going at it. And so they fight. And I think that one was kind of a draw. I wouldn't really say Tavy lost or won that one necessarily. But, yeah, then they fought. It's like, why? Now, one of the other people that's there kind of lingering in the background that's on the set is Camilla. I forgot about Camilla. I don't know if she's part of the cast or not. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I always fast forward through the credits. I probably shouldn't do that. But once I hear the credits one time and hear the song, I don't, the other episodes that come on, I just fast forward through that shit. I don't know. So I'm saying all that to say that I don't know if Camilla is a part of the cast this season or if she was just there because they was in LA and like that's where she lived and maybe they invited her. But Camilla is there and Tinkerbella got it out for Camilla. And part of me is like, okay, it must be for a good reason. But then the other part of me is like, Tinker, you know goddamn well, girl, why is you trying to fight this lady? She is a lady, okay? I think me and Camilla might be around the same age. About the same age. She might be younger than me, shit, I don't know. But Camilla is not finna be wrestling with your big old robust ass, girl. That is so sad. I was scared for Camilla. I really was. I was really shaking for her. She ended up having another incident with Lex too, where Lex gonna end up cracking her ass. And I felt sorry for her right there. I was like, Lord have mercy. I believe she exchanged words with E.T. when E.T. showed up at the venue. I guess she had said something online about E.T. or something was going on with that. Well, E.T. was mad and she come in there. She was pissed off at Camilla. And E.T. run in there and I'm like, oh, Lord. Camilla. I was like, oh my God, Camilla gonna get beat the fuck down. Like, why is she in there with all these young ass girls and all these strong ass arms and legs and shit? What is she doing? But so her first approach comes from Tinker. And so Tinker's not really able to get to her like I think she wanted to. So she was kind of saved with that. But yeah, so I guess Cold Killer was feeling the same way I was about the Camilla thing. It's like Tinkerbella. Like, girl, leave her that little ass girl. Leave that little lady alone. Leave her alone, girl. You ain't gonna be able to fight her. And so Cold Killer ended up intercepting that fight. I wouldn't say she snuck Tinker, but she stepped up and was like, fuck it, bitch, let's go. So Cold Killer and Tinkerbella go at it again. I think they fighting. Why is they fighting? I think they just don't like each other from the whole little song debacle thing that they got going on. And so they fight, and it does not go well for Cold Killer. It don't go well for Cold Killer. That's my little boo thing. That's my baby, but she did not make out well in that one. Matter of fact, when she do her performance, her little eye swole up. She had to put up some. I don't think it was swole, but you know how you bust the blood vessel and your shit be red a little bit on the inside. You know how you bust your shit, your eye be red a little bit on the inside. Yeah, Tinker did that to Cold Killer. I feel bad for that baby, bless her heart. But she was being honorable. She was like, Tinker, stop running up on these old people. Stop it right now. And then while Cold Killer and Tinker is fighting, Fauna finds her way to the fight. So I guess she called herself defending her friend or whatever, which, she needed that because, yeah, it was not looking too good for Cold Killer. Tinker roughed her ass up. Camilla was like, we can't be fighting. We too pretty for that shit. I'm like, girl, this is not. I mean, I guess the reverse psychology had worked or whatever, but Camilla just made me feel nervous. I just didn't feel like she needed to be up in there. She needed to have her some kind of security. Oh yeah, so now mind you, while all this bullshit is going on, they still up on the stage, and the people that's cognizant enough to try to rehearse to get their shit done is up on the stage. And so Mariah, while she is rehearsing, she ended up trying to take a shot at Sky. Sky don't want to fight that girl. And I don't really even know if it got a lot to do with her being scared. I think Sky is just not a fighter. But Mariah has really just got a fucking bone to pick with Sky. And so she go up there and they argue, and she tried to hit her. She tried to sneak her, but Sky blocked her and ended up seeing her before she could get her real good. And so she chunked a microphone. So they got that little beef shit going on with them. And that's going to come back in a very, very funny way. I promise. Y'all just hold tight. We're going to get there. Okay, yeah. So Tinker and Fauna, they end up fighting again. I guess everybody go to their corners. They catch their breath. They end up squaring back up. They fight. This is where Lex is going to approach Camilla, and we getting towards kind of the end of the episode. So they end up screaming and hollering and going back and forth, like they verbally kind of going at it. And so I joked about the security shit. Camilla, I don't know if it's probably just the Zeus security that was on staff that day or whatever, but she need a extra, she need big homie CC to come up in that motherfucker and stand next to her, because she is very vulnerable. She is very vulnerable. But Lex is basically letting her know, like, bitch, I'm gonna get you. So that's kind of where we left off, right? So episode 2 is pure and utter fucking chaos. It was way too much shit going on. It was too many people in there. I don't even think the venue was big enough to hold all of the... But besides the people performing, and then their crew, and like they set up staff, and then you got cameramen, and then you got the motherfuckers that probably work there at the venue that's supposed to be at work that day anyway already. Like, it was just way too much shit going on up in that place. I wonder, I would like to know, it'd be interesting for me to see how much Zeus got to pay in damages every time they leave somewhere. Like, do they just give motherfuckers like $1 million deposit and then they just come in and just do what they gonna do? Or do they actually go somewhere and then leave and then people gotta invoice them for $1 million? Because them girls be tearing shit up. It is really very ratchet and very sad. And I love every motherfucking second of it. That's all I got to say about that shit. It's your girl, the Benji B. I'm finna go find me something else to watch on TV. Bye.